Anyway, so let's go ahead and start with some news about the oil. The like this is breaking points. I watched them a decent amount. I like that Ryan Grimm guy. I think he's a good reporter for DropSite. And I think he's on this panel. I didn't really watch much of it before, so we'll see what they have to say about, the biggest cost that will be imposed on us, which is, paying slightly higher gas prices.
5 a.m. The CNBC headline is S&P 500. Well, as we're recording,
that is way too fast. That's what I listen to it on my own. Okay.
This it's 9:25 a.m. The CNBC headline is S&P 500 futures tick higher as crude oil trades lower after Iran conflict surge. That's again what it's showing right now. By the time you see this, markets will be open. But Ryan, I want to roll this clip of Donald Trump responding to questions yesterday in the Oval Office about oil prices. It's a midterm election year. He's focused on cost of living, as his team continues to say.
So costly.
D1, this is Trump on what could happen, what that might mean for him in the near future with oil and gas prices.
I'll tell you what, I have never had more compliments on something I did. People felt it's something that had to be done. So if we have a little high oil prices for a little while, but as soon as this ends, those prices are going to drop, I believe, lower than even before.
And he rolled out his plan for the Strait of Hormuz.
As soon as it ends, let's hope it ends soon. Let's hope it's not like, let's hope it doesn't take like 20 years or whatever the last war we were in took.
Social, let's put the next element up on the screen, writing, effective immediately, I've ordered the U.S. Development Finance Corporation to provide at a very reasonable price political risk insurance and guarantees for financial security of all maritime trade, especially energy, traveling through the Gulf. This will be available to all ships.
Okay, so political risk insurance. So I guess that means we're paying the insurance cost to insure stuff going through the Strait of Hormuz. I mean, it doesn't really matter because nobody, no reasonable company is going to try to take that risk right now. So it's going to be like empty. And then, guarantees for financial security. So, okay.
Shipping lines, if necessary,
just
the U.S.
financial
Navy will
security.
begin escorting tankers through the Strait of Hormuz as soon as possible. No matter what, the U.S. will ensure the free flow of energy to the world. The U.S. is...
If we're starting to escort tankers, that's first, I don't necessarily think that they're going to go through with this. It just is probably too risky. Like you're risking, you're getting a lot closer and risking a lot more of a chance that you're going to actually get one of your Navy ships taken down. So, but maybe they will. Who knows? Trump's a pretty crazy guy.
Economic military might is the greatest on earth. More actions to come. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And D3, we can go ahead.
We're up to 4, Mem Straw Hat. 4 subscribers. Hopefully they can still find my channel with all the name changes. Mem. I guess I can call you Mem. Don't want to be associated with the Straw Hats, I see.
And put latest oil barrel prices up on the screen. So this would actually be as of yesterday, I think, is when we got this graphic in.
Speaking of Straw Hats, I mean, if only we could get Luffy, if we could get all of them to come over and start, maybe they need to come over and start escorting all of the tankers through the Strait of Hormuz.
So yeah, crude oil prices surge above $77 a barrel to their highest level since January 21st, 2025, one day after President Trump's inauguration. And then Kobasi letter says on X, little commentary, the entire oil price decline under President Trump has now been erased. So you can see why he's eager to downplay any concerns or to undercut concerns by saying, well, this is great for other reasons. Oil prices is something we might have to put up with. Ryan, reaction to Trump's comments yesterday?
Yeah, let's see what Ryan says.
I just noticed this.
This is the guy, by the way. If anybody ever wants, he's a really good reporter. I like him a lot.
Down a couple bucks.
The only reason I even started watching the show was because he was on it.
Down about 73 or 70, $74. It'll much depend on if and when this ends. As Trump's promise that he is going to escort
not anytime soon
oil tankers through the Strait of Hormuz.
We'll escort them
and
forever.
also
We'll
reinsure
escort them
them
around the world.
is quite an aggressive step. Reinsurance basically runs the world. Like that is the actual
Insurance
cabal
runs
that
the world.
If we stop insuring properties in Florida, for instance, like forget it. Like that's and so the way that this works is these massive oil tankers have insurance, and it costs a particular amount to get through, a particular part of the world, and the reinsurers once Iran's
that insurance price though, we're just covering that. Like if we're going to be escorting them, we're just covering that cost, like the cost of insurance. And so it's just, you think I should my voice volume or the volume of the show? Voice volume? Um, well, I think that's as high as it goes on here. I can maybe move the mic a little bit closer to my mouth. Is that a little bit better? Testing. I don't know. We'll just keep going. I'll check it out after the stream, I guess. Oh, that's right. Okay. Well, I am trying a new thing of it actually going through my mic audio, and I might have to do some actual mixing sort of stuff. In comparison to the actual video I'm watching, though, is it okay? Like if you just turn it up on your computer, like can you still, like, can I hear, can you hear me occasionally talk over it, or that was the problem that I had last time. Because I can always turn down the video and then just leave my current volume at the same, and then you can turn it up on your side, but okay, well that's fine. I can do that. Sorry. I think that I understand what you're saying. I'm gonna turn down the video more, and then I'm going to just keep my volume at where it's at.
said the Strait of Hormuz is closed, said forget it. Like we're not backing these up, because for obvious reasons.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. I didn't
Trump is
express
saying,
it very
all right,
well.
two things: we'll send in the Navy, and we will use our own basically tax dollars through this development finance
That's what I said.
to offer the insurance itself. And so then it's up to the ships to risk it. Now, the Navy has subsequently said, actually, we don't really have a whole lot of capacity to do this escort. So
I wonder why.
Hey, I've got ship stuff.
The Navy's been doing like nonstop, nonstop missions in like in the Middle East, then back to Latin America, then back to the Middle East, and I'm sure after this back to Latin America to go after Cuba again. They're just literally they're doing nonstop movements and stuff. Like, yeah, I think they're like, yeah, we don't have capacity. That's the story of America's life right now.
Help me out. Like, no, that's just we didn't really mean that. But if you here's the process to get some insurance. So Iran has been attacking a couple tankers and hitting them, and it doesn't take much to completely seize them up. Meanwhile, you put up D4. They've said, and we'll see, how effective this is. They've said that Chinese and Russian vessels can get through, which would be ironic if then the U.S. says, well, no,
Well,
they
we'll
can't.
see
We're
if they actually
closing
take
them.
that risk right now.
Or do the
I mean, they might not target them, but it is like, a clusterfuck right now. Like, I don't know if they'll want to actually, if China or Russia will want to ship through there. But if it turns into a long-term thing, I'm sure they will. I'm sure they'll take them up on that.
do these oil tankers that are stuck reach out to the Chinese and reflag themselves as Chinese, and China then gets half of it or something? And maybe, like, we'll see. Meanwhile, it's I think so. It's March, right? We're going to be
Barely,
talking about
yeah.
primaries next with the David Sirota and Dave Weigel. Midterms are coming. I don't, I don't know if
Midterms.
it's true
What are
that
those?
the public thinks that this is the greatest thing anybody's ever done, and that they're willing to pay higher gas and energy prices. Because
Independents definitely don't and won't.
yeah, and it's not just that you're
anyone
pushing.
who's not a cultist, anyone who's not like down bad for the Trump MAGA train, like there is nobody else is going to be okay with this war.
You might push to like $4 a gallon or something like that. It's not just it filters
$4,
through the
oof.
entire economy.
Yeah.
Trump actively, smashed very deliberately and proudly any attempt to move to renewable energy, and so everything in the
We don't
economy
need it.
runs on fossil
Only
fuels.
oil.
So if you push up that price, everything then gets more expensive. And I can't imagine that people are going to be like, oh, well, that's good because at least Israel got to have its war with Iran.
Well, that's
we
why they
must
also
suffer
freaked
for
out about the
Israel.
messaging, as we covered earlier, which I think we're arguing is reflective of a conflicted, muddled, inconclusive strategy itself, sort of sprung from that well.
Yeah,
But
they have no
that's
idea
why
what they're
freaked
doing.
out about it, because now when people are looking back on, why are these prices higher? Well, there are these clips that are going to ring in their minds if they follow the news very closely about Marco Rubio saying, well, we heard Israel was going to strike, or Mike Johnson saying we heard Israel was going to
The
strike.
preemptive strike
Democrats will
train, man.
use
I'm
that.
telling you, that's what I said. It's like preemptive strikes all the way through. We're never going to actually make a real strike. It's all preemptive.
Sympathy for Israel among voters has plummeted, and that means
Keep going
independents,
lower.
particularly,
It could be lower.
if you need them to turn
Remember,
out
it could
in a
always
place
be
like
lower.
North Carolina, for Republicans, you have a problem. So let's turn to developments from Qatar. This is the next element: Qatar Energy to stop downstream production. Qatar Energy values its relationship with all of its stakeholders and will continue to communicate the latest available information.
That's natural gas, yeah.
Yep, LNG. And then the next element, this is the Reuters headline: Qatar smelter shutdown exacerbates Iran war aluminum
Aluminum?
fears. The
My
impact of the
tinfoil?
US-Israeli attacks on Iran.
Wait, what am I going to make all my hats with? What am I going to make all my tinfoil hats with?
The aluminum sector deepened on Tuesday after Qatari smelter Qatalum began to shut down, and shareholder Norsk Hydro issued a force majeure to customers. Ryan, everything's going according to plan.
Right. So this is the way that things cascade through the economy, and so the South Korean market, which has been surging throughout the year, had an absolutely massive sell-off. It hit one of those circuit breakers where they're like, "Oh, okay, just stop trading. This is an absolute catastrophe."
No more hats. I know.
You've had other Asian markets
yeah.
selling off as well.
Luckily, we got a bunch of tinfoil from Costco before this, so we should be set for a while.
So far, the U.S. markets have, they're volatile, but they haven't been completely rocked yet. We'll see what happens today. But this stuff then starts to become.
Dude, this is all building though. This is like this is kind of how the ends of empires always go, is that all of these compounding effects start to build. Like there's little things that happen, right? Like, oh, people no longer flee to treasury bonds at first, or like the dollar, it doesn't go up whenever the stock market goes down, and then we're at war with more countries than we're usually at war with, which is a lot already. And and then like, oh, now the oil is going up. Like this is all setting up the perfect storm for like collapse. And I never want to say that I'm predicting that it's going to happen, because it's impossible to predict like the timing of the collapse of empire. But like, if you look back in history at every single empire that has ever collapsed, all of these ingredients were there, and they were all they were all mixing around in the pot, and so now here we are.
Self-reinforcing.
Yeah.
If you are leveraged in a market that dives, and now you've got margin calls coming in, you have to meet that, then you have to sell off other assets in order to pay that, and then that dives, and then you have to sell off those assets. So that's why. And then you have all of these AIs out there trading, um,
Grok.
in ways where they're trying to like
Grok.
find a little arbitrage around.
It's going to be too expensive to run Grok pretty soon, guys. Uh-oh. What are we going to do? What are all the gooners going to do? Their AI girlfriends are going to be turned off. There's not enough oil.
The world, and so that that can produce some kind of runaway moves once you break through thresholds that people expect to be stable.
And bear in mind, there is no regime change plan. Donald Trump just said that in the Oval Office yesterday. He said, we don't know if it'll be better or worse. We don't actually know if it's Pahlavi or someone else. And so the certainty for people who are trading and trying to make financial decisions here is absent.
Yeah.
Nobody has any, I mean, this is already in the broader tariff climate, which is putting a lot of injecting a lot of uncertainty into the markets right now.
Tariffs.
So incredibly shaky global economy. That's, I mean, it's always shaky.
Just
but
one,
right now,
man, just
fragility.
one major drop, dude. One major drop. I feel like it, I feel, I mean, it could happen. It could happen.
Is at another level.
Yeah, and I think to me this is the markets and the economy and oil prices are everything, and I think Iran understands that. The only language
this is the
that Trump
competing
really
interests.
understands is this.
This is the hard part. This is the hard part for the capitalists because they're not used to this. Usually all of their interests align all the time. Like it's like they're so unaccustomed to having two competing interests. They have on the one hand the Zionist like lobby and like all of the pro-Israel freaks who like will literally sacrifice life and limb. They will sacrifice, maybe not all of their money, but like half of their money for Israel. Like, and that's saying something. Like these people love money. Like that's their entire life is money. And so giving up half of it for Israel, like that's a big concession. But then you have the oil oligarchs on the other side who are like, dude, we can't make any money. Like this what are we doing here? Like fuck Israel. And I mean, I think we know which side is going to win. Like there's a lot more like pro-Israel billionaires than I think than there are oil oligarchs, but it is just kind of funny to for once in their lives they're fighting against each other instead of forcing us workers to fight against each other.
Is money, is affordability, which is called a hoax, and which is advisors, I'm sure, every time die inside when he says that, and when he says things like, "Yeah, people can handle a little bit of pay a little more."
Because I've never gotten so many compliments.
I've never had so many compliments, sir. Just absolutely incredible.
I
sir.
don't know. I don't know if I could handle it.
I weep with joy every time I pay more at the pump, just so that I can sacrifice on behalf.
Maybe
of
I could afford it if more people showed up. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll go well in North Carolina.
Sorry, future
and
chat.
Texas.
Anybody watching the
Speaking of
VOD?
the trend,
Yeah.
we're about to get to North Carolina and
Hint, hint.
Texas, particularly to Texas, where there's some big primary election results.
Yep. So stick around. We're gonna have David Sirota and Dave Weigel talking about the results, and also out of Arkansas, like Arkansas,
Arkansas.
Thunderbolt. Like, oh, how about we?
My
just
mom's from
put some
Arkansas.
Democrats on the Supreme Court. Like in our
Okay, so